Immanuel Kant's categorical imperative is one of the most well-renowned concepts of moral philosophy. But what exactly is it? Well, Kant first introduces his concept of the categorical imperative in his novel Groundworks of the Metaphysics of Morals, and it is essentially used as the ground force, the central philosophical concept that shapes his entire deontological moral philosophy. The idea is essentially this. When you act, you should ask yourself whether the rule behind your action could be applied to everyone universally, in every situation, and without contradiction. So morality in this way isn't about what happens after you act. It's about whether the principle you're acting on could reasonably guide human behavior for all. Take lying, for example. Kant's reasoning isn't that lying feels bad, or that lying usually backfires. These things might be true, but his reasoning is structural. If everyone lied when it seemed useful, the practice of telling the truth would collapse. And in this case, lying would no longer work, meaning the rule undermines the very system that it is dependent on. And in this way, Kant believes some actions are wrong, even if they appear to produce good results. And that is not because consequences don't matter, but because they can't be the foundation of morality. Now, there are many critics of Kant's framework, saying that it is far too rigid and that real life is much messier. Situations can conflict, and sometimes telling the truth can cause real harm. But to this, Kant would argue, once you start to allow exceptions based on convenience or prediction, then morality starts to turn quickly into calculation. And in this way, you are no longer asking what is right, but rather what will work this time. So what do you believe? Do you agree with Kant that moral rules should be rigid and absolute? Or do you think they should be more flexible and lenient based on the situation that arises? I'd love to hear your thoughts.